It's Hololive time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the figma number 542. It's Uruha Rushia. Man, I gotta say, this review, it's bittersweet. Obviously, on one hand, I love this character. I love the design, so I had to get the figure. Obviously, I also love Hololive. But if you don't know, this character unfortunately is not active anymore, and I will not get into the controversy about it, because that's not really what this figure review is about. But still, I love Rushia. I love my sweet Payne necromancer girl, and I'm really happy that Figma still got the review out. So, let's have a look at it.
I'm a boy Rushia, not a Payne. Not a Payne, I'm a boy.
This figure stands at about 13 centimeters to the top of her head, which means we are going up to 5.1 inches tall. Size comparisons. Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, NECA Michelangelo, Nendoroid Hachimachama, Figma Peko, and Darkseid.
Oh no, my God!
Overall look in detail, all the figure is beautiful. I mean, there is a lot of cool paint applications that they did with this, but first and foremost, let's start at the face sculpt, which, yeah, it is the VTuber model through and through. It has the red eyes and the green hair, and the best part about the green hair is there's a bunch of shading on it. So the one part that's kind of weird at the front part, they have a little bit, just a tip of blue, barely noticeable, but they haven't done anything in the back, so it doesn't really follow through. Have the buns, which have a nice amount of detail, and also pretty much everything on this figure is painted from what I can tell. You have the detail around the bun over here, the blue, which looks fairly sloppy, unfortunately. And I even like the mold seems like not really following through with all of it. You got the one skull over there, which looks cute, and the earrings on both sides, also the skull earrings, and the other skull in the collar. But let me have a look at the back of the hair, because that is one of my favorite parts. I love the blue in there. How it goes from the green to blue, absolutely nicely done. And also there's a ribbon over here with some strands going down, and also the hair strands in the front have a little bit of blue on it. And back to the collar, you have some more blue and purple in there, which it looks kind of weird. Like there's a blue line, there's two blue lines. On the other one, that on the side there's just one. So what happened there? What was that? So we also have the black line on the sides and down to the chest area. You know I had to make a joke like that. The paint on it is good though. It doesn't seem to line up completely, but you know, small issues for a small chest. Ha ha ha! Oh god. To the back we have a butterfly, the symbol of Rushia. We have a bunch more of those. It looks great and has the ribbons going down, which are soft plastic. Also have a little bit of green on there. And then you have the long ass sleeves with the black. It is molded on, so there's some depth to it. And also we have some more shading where it goes over into the bright green. Now you might be noticing something about the sleeves. I do not agree with how they did it. Yeah, you have the sleeves and you have some articulation there, so you can rotate it up and down. But it just looks ugly. It just looks so bad. I mean, I get the idea, and I commend the idea to, you know, add some articulation to that, because when she used her 3D model, obviously those parts were really flopping around a lot. So it's an articulation point I could have done without, but hey, they did it, and so it gives you more options to play around with the poses, which is cool. You know, on one hand, it's cool. On the other hand, it doesn't look that great. Also, you have a swivel up there, but that's... We'll get to the articulation later. Have two more butterflies in the front and the rest over the skirt. And you know what time it is? It's sponsor time. Actually, I can just lift it up over there. Very nicely done. You know, full pantsu view. Also with the butt. It's a black pantsu. It fits with the character. It fits with the style. Even though... Does she have... Yeah, I think she does have black pantsu. We've seen like the 3D models. Although I never know, like usually when they show the pants on the 3D models, like inadvertently, it's usually a little bit long. It's more like short. So I'm not 100% sure on that. Wow, the pants knowledge is fading. What's going on? And down to the shoes with a little bit of blue in there, and also the shoes are a lot more shiny than the rest of the character, which is accurate and makes sense because it's shoes. you have just cloth and shoes. So also the legs have the pale skin tone, and it looks fantastic. For the articulation, and as I was moving her around, I noticed one thing. The front part of the hair, like these parts that are hanging down, are hard plastic. So be very careful to not break those off, and I have to remind that myself as I move around. So the hat is standard stuff. You have the big ball hinge, which goes into another ball that's packed into the back of the hat. So as such, it moves forward quite nicely. It doesn't move to the back so much because of the hair. Same with the side-to-side tilting. You have a little bit, and it does swivel all the way around. With the shoulders, same stuff. You have a ball in the chest area, so you can rotate it around on there, and the shoulder itself is on a ball hinge, so that goes up and down quite nicely, and you can also rotate this entire part. And then you have a simple ball hinge. Doesn't line up for freaking crying out loud. Move it up like that. And as I mentioned beforehand, for the sleeves you have another swivel, which breaks up the sculpt a little bit, but I actually don't mind this swivel. As I was saying, I mind this part. You have these sleeves which are just packed in, so you can move them down and up. And you know, like I'm saying, yes, it looks ugly and it doesn't really accomplish that much, but hey, it is there. And then you have the ball hinge in the hand, which moves up and down and also can be used as a swivel. For the chest area, or lack thereof, okay, I'm gonna stop now. You can bring that backward quite nicely and forwards also a little bit if you give it a good tuck, and also does tilt side to side. You really have to kind of try to shift it around in there, but it does work. It doesn't have the greatest range, but it's okay. The skirt, it has this soft plastic piece, and also, like, I don't really know how they cut up the skirt. I'm not sure if I agree with it, because obviously you leave a little bit of gaps, but you can play around with this soft plastic piece and kind of try to drape it over it or under it, and try to cover up for some holes in there. And by the way, the butterflies, those are just glued on there. Those are a single piece, and they didn't just peg it in, because then you could move it around, but you can't. So don't try to do that, otherwise it will break off and you have to re-glue it. And then the rest of the skirt has two ball hinges on both sides, so you can move it up and also have some rotation in it. As much room as you really have, which isn't really the greatest. I mean, I guess if you lift this up, can move it a little bit more forward, but again, don't break anything off. For the legs, you have some very high kicks, very nicely. Goes out to the side and also to the back decently enough. Then you have also rotation on the leg itself. You can bring it around over there. And then you have a simple ball hinge in the knee, can bring that up. And the foot. Actually, can you rotate the upper part? Yes, this one is packed in. So you have another swivel in there. And the foot is on another ball hinge, goes up and down. And does also, let me see, tilt side to side. Oh, so slightly. Doesn't have the greatest range on there, but she does stand, actually, considering that she has such small feet and high heels. You can balance her if you try around for a little bit. I've tried it out and it does work. Wow, look at this. Look at this. Not super stable, but it does work. Of course now it doesn't work anymore, but just take my word, I just did it, but I wanted to repose her in front of the camera. There you go. For the accessories, let me get the boring stuff out of the way first. You have the Figma back, which comes with every Figma. Same with the base. If you collect Figmas, you know how this works. Put that in there, put that in the back of the figure. They all have a hole in the back, so, and then you can move it around and put it into pose. And also, if you want to, you can put this piece up there for some more options, I guess. Then you have one of the more interesting parts. All of the Hololive members so far, I think, which I've seen, come with a little buddy, and this is the fan dad, which is basically the fan base, and all of them have their little version, and this is like a ghost with a little bit of Rushia outfit, which is cute. Also has a hole in the bottom, so you can put it on the base if you want to. You don't have an extra base for the little guy, by the way. If you want to use this on this base, you don't have another base, unless you have more Figmas and you're not using all your bases. Then you have the hands. You have these kind of pointy fingers on both sides, the open hand to hold the knife, and the fist hand. Also not super great on the hands, but I guess it does the job. Also, you have the two faces, the one angry face looking to the side, and the one smiling face with the little fang, little teeth over there. Now the faces are cool. I have one, not really complaint, but this is already like the yandere face, but when she does it, she had like a special kind of version of it where the upper part of her head just kind of went red to give it a more menacing look. And I didn't do that. It's the same face, but you know, you don't have that extra, you know, that little extra, which would have been great. Then you have a kitchen knife. There's a reason for that. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. It's a kitchen knife. And finally also, wow, by the way, there's a little pack which you can use if your wrist pack is breaking off. And finally, my two least favorite parts, not because the accessory is bad, you have this little chick, tiny chick, which is sitting on her hat. And how do you connect that? With this stupid see-through plastic. And I hate these because the connections of those things is not really great. And I'm just gonna try it real quick. So you're supposed to just open up this a little bit, the front piece of the hair, and then slide it in there and then try to close it back down. Sometimes it stays on there, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like the chick may be working because the form of this fits perfectly, snuggles perfectly into the front part where you have the packs which connect to the head. So you can slide it in there and that's actually fine. And then you also have this kind of angry vein that comes out of the head. Let's try that. Let's try to put it in the same position. I guess that works. I guess holds on fairly nicely, I guess because it's small pieces, but you know, I would have preferred, especially for the chick, to have another front hair piece where it's directly connected, but I guess this will do. Final thoughts! I had this great idea for a post, but the bass kind of ruins it a little bit. You'll see as it turns around. But anyway, I want to keep the emotional part out of the way because, you know, I was a fan. I still am a fan of Uruha Rushia, and even though I don't speak a shred of Japanese, it's one of those characters I was just kind of drawn to, with the nature of the character being so nice and calm speaking, but then just turning it up, going heavy metal, screaming like I don't even know, like nobody's business. But the figure itself already has a great design. And, you know, that's something that Hololive really excels at. I feel like they have some of the best designs in the VTuber community. Yes, I said it. And if you just like this Gothic Lolita Necromancer with has a good color scheme, like the purple with the green. It's one of the classic combinations. And the figure looks great. I don't have any issues with the paint. Well, there's some small steps here and there which could have been better. But I absolutely love the shading, and they really brought that to life. Now for the accessories, as I was saying, could have had a little bit more, could have played around more with the faces. Well, the articulation is mostly basic stuff, as I was saying. I don't really agree with the sleeves. Could have done without it, but hey, as I'm talking about articulation, it's an articulation point that otherwise wouldn't have been there, but I don't feel like it looks great. So what does that mean? I mean, how can I not recommend this figure? Even if like I'm saying, even if I leave the emotional stuff at the door, even if I'm trying to not be a fan right now and just a reviewer, I still think this figure looks great. And if you're a fan of the character, yeah, this is probably the last merchandise we're going to get of her. I'm saying probably, it is. Like, I don't see what else they're going to do. And I'm happy that Figma brought her out in the first place. I recommend this figure. I think it looks great. It's something else. The design is special, and the amount of accessories are fairly limited, but they're cool. And also, I hate on this kind of stuff, but you know, a lot of people like to swap accessories with characters, and this is something you can put on just basically every Figma. So, you know, if that's what you're into, that's an also bonus. So yeah, I'm just rambling again. I do recommend this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Uruha Rushia wants.